Some elite athletes are so damn good, they need to literally make stuff up to motivate them. LeBron proving the washed king crowd wrong? Really? I think like 2 people called him that. Some people actually did say Tom Brady is too old to his face.
You're too old! You're too old!
But what people really called TB12 was the GOAT. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, doesn't have to make any criticism up. It is everywhere. In my own comment section, Ben Simmons is so overrated. Dude, Ben Simmons can't score outside the paint to save his life. Jared Dudley was even worse. Remember when he said Ben Simmons is a great player in transition, and once you get him into half court, he's average? That's coming from another NBA player. This has gotten way out of hand. We know what this all comes down to, his lack of an outside shot. And by the way, it's not that he can't shoot, it's that he won't shoot. The Ben Simmons is overrated talk has gotten out of control, and this video will break down how he's become one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Hey, it's Casey Kiernan, aka the YouTuber Tyler Hero. Thanks to Team Penn for that nickname. Hit subscribe and hit notification bells. It really helps out the channel while we're still making 5 videos per week, even though the NBA is suspended. Look, first of all, I am not gonna outright defend Ben Simmons for not shooting and say it doesn't matter. It does matter. Not taking threes affects the Sixers' pacing and their space and their chemistry with their 2 biggest stars, but it does not make Simmons an average player. Dude is elite at everything else. I know the comparison isn't exact, but look at Giannis Antetokounmpo, for example. The Bucks' blueprint is to give Giannis the ball, surround him with shooters, and get out of the way. Yes, Giannis has taken more threes this year, but it's not a good shot. Teams still back off and hope he takes it. I feel like every time a 3 goes in for Giannis, the announcer's like, oh man, if he starts to do that regularly, the league's in trouble. Yeah, he doesn't do it regularly. It's still a bad shot for him. Now, the Sixers could take the Bucks blueprint with Ben Simmons in mind, but they don't. They ranked 3rd from last in 3-point attempts in the East. If there's anything wrong with the Sixers, it's the team around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, not the 2 stars. Embiid does shoot from the outside. And yeah, you'd want your point guard to take more threes than your center, but don't we call this the era of positionless basketball? Yeah, Brett Brown has had to create an upside-down offense, but that means Embiid can draw the other center out to the 3-point line and make him less effective. And had Markelle Fultz not been a bust, things would have been so much different for Philly and Ben Simmons. Fultz was drafted 1st overall to be the perfect complement to Ben in the backcourt. He was supposed to knock down shots when Simmons takes the team in transition. Fultz was supposed to handle the ball in the half court, where yes, Ben is more limited. If Fultz had lived up to his potential, there'd be no comments or talking heads hating on Ben Simmons. We wouldn't be talking about the one thing he can't do. We'd be going crazy over the 10 things he does at an elite level. So yes, a lot of this is not the fault of Ben Simmons. That front office, for example, this year replaced JJ Redick and Jimmy Butler with Josh Richardson and Al Horford. A disaster. That combination has made those half-court issues an even bigger problem. But the worst part of those moves, the salary cap. Tobias Harris will be making about $40 million when he's 31 years old. Al Horford will be making about $27 million at 36 years old. Good luck trying to fix this team in one offseason. When I say Ben Simmons is elite at everything other than the 3, here's what I mean. He's a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He's 1st in the NBA in steals per game, 3rd in deflections, 2nd in recovering loose balls. He's flat out the most versatile defender in the league as a 6'9" point guard. He can pick up any player at any spot on the floor. He's basically the opposite of Trae Young. Trae is a guaranteed bucket for the other team on defense, while Ben gives fits to the opponent's best player all night. Simmons' height is valuable on the boards as well. He gets about 8 rebounds per game, which is 2nd in the league among point guards. Russell Westbrook is 1st, and it's 2nd on the Sixers as a team. He leads his team in assists too at 8.2 per game, good for the 5th best in the NBA. His basketball IQ through the roof. He can make every read in any situation. If you want a point guard who, sets up his teammates, Ben Simmons is your guy. Being a willing passer and not taking bad shots allows Simmons to be super efficient. He shoots 59% from the field, and he's not a complete L at the free throw line anymore. 63% from the line is a career high. Scoring 17 points a game on just 11 field goals is efficient and impactful for a guy who doesn't shoot threes. James Harden, for example, takes 23 shots a game. Simmons takes 11. Those other 12 shots get to go to his teammates. For the Ben Simmons haters, let's recap. An elite defender and rebounder, super efficient, and he makes the right pass. And people say they should get rid of Ben next year if he doesn't learn to take a jump shot. That is such a stupid take. He's one of the most unique and valuable players in the NBA. But again, I'm not going to defend him till the end on this. I do think he needs to start shooting, but I don't think it's as big of an issue as everyone makes it out to be. Being a Sixers fan has got to be pretty frustrating though. I mean, we see Ben Simmons shooting threes in the offseason. We see him before games, making like, I don't know, 1 million in a row. Unbelievable. But he does not take them in games. It's not that he can't, it's that he won't. I think that's actually a bigger issue. In an ESPN article recently, Ben's brother said this: confidence is a huge thing, which seems like a contradiction because you look at this guy and you think nothing can break him, but he's human, you know? You can break it down to a psychological thing. Do I shoot it? Do I need to? Am I gonna miss? I think am I gonna miss is a big thing. I agree. In fact, Ben chose to work with a sports psychologist and that didn't help. A little concerning. We've seen the spotlight of Philly sports hurt players' games in the past. Markelle Fultz couldn't stand the weight of being the #1 overall pick. He cracked under pressure, and it showed in his shot. At least Ben's been able to thrive under pressure, a 2-time All-Star, and he earned a max contract extension. But people still choose to look at his lack of shooting, and Sixers coach Brett Brown doesn't help any. After Ben made a 3 in garbage time against Cleveland, he said he wanted his point guard to take a minimum of 1 per game. Of course, that didn't happen, and it caused even more hate. One thing Brett Brown did consider doing was benching Ben Simmons if he refused to up his 3-point attempts. Brown said, quote, "I told Ben, if you're not willing to shoot, then do I just bench you? Because I could do that. This was all discussed. I opted to take this path. I think only down the road we'll be able to truly assess if it was the right one. In the meantime, he is a 2-time All-Star, a kid that's gone from a college 4 to an NBA point guard. His story is a pretty darn good one." Now, some say Simmons should go back to being the 4 that he played at LSU, or start shooting, or blow up the Sixers altogether. That's ridiculous. There is no reason at this point to make a big trade or a position change. Ben Simmons has plenty of time to mature his game and gain confidence. LeBron, for example, came into the league with a much different game than he has now. He took threes as a rookie, but he was bad at it. I mean, you can see on the shot chart, purple is awful, yellow is elite. As we go through the years, you see he was always good at driving to the rim. He started excelling at the outside shot and on the block at 25 years old. He got really good at the 3 at 27 years old, and now he can do it all. Ben Simmons is just 23 years old. I know it seems like he's older than that because he's got the outside expectations of a guy in his prime, but what Ben has on his side is the ability to improve. There are major questions a guy like Trae Young can ever improve his biggest weakness. Dude is just undersized and may always be one of the NBA's worst defenders and a major liability. I will admit this, if Ben Simmons is 25 or 26 years old and he still hasn't progressed, it will be time for a change. The Sixers thrived this year when Joel Embiid was hurt and Simmons led the team. Maybe it would be time to trade Embiid. If they went that route, they could make a deal to bring back those shooters to make the Bucks blueprint a reality. The same can be said for the Sixers with Joel Embiid and without Ben Simmons, but I think because of Embiid's age and his health, trading Ben Simmons would be a huge mistake. Simmons says though there won't be any need for that, he will start shooting threes. Just before his back injury this year, he said, quote, "I feel like I want to take threes now as opposed to being asked to force them up. It could be during the playoffs. I've prepped so much for it. When I do it, it will work." I think Ben Simmons does eventually need to take like 2 or 3 from downtown per game, but I also think people are letting the fact that he doesn't do that get in the way of how unique and special he truly is. Ben Simmons is an elite 23-year-old still maturing his game. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.